So I'm so happy to be in this room. This room was recently totally renovated, remodeled, redone, much better, whatever the term might be. So when Curtis gets up here to speak, he'll probably be even louder than I am. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and welcome to the 2019 Tiger Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is John Armstrong, and I have the privilege and honor to be your master of ceremonies for what is one of my most wonderful events of the entire year, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here and share it with you all today. I'm the Director of Admissions here at Fort Hays State University, and I love my job even more every single day because of days like this. Why? Because I want our students that are on our campus to feel the pride that you have, did have, and especially have today. This truly is a special place. My family and I have been back in Hays for about 13 years, and I'm thankful to drive across what is an awesome campus every single day. For a lot of you, when you drive around campus today, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I've recruited a ton of athletes over the years and been in admissions since 1997. Unbelievable athletes just like all of you. Athletes with the drive, determination, incredible work ethic, and the passion to be great. And all of those qualities are true for each of our inductees today. For those inductees, family, and friends who are attending this special occasion for the first time, I promise you that today will be one of the most enjoyable days of your life. Today, our inductees are the stars. Today, all of you have every right to smile, laugh, clap, and even cry a bit. Today, it's about you. It's about you and how much Fort Hays State cares about each and every single one of you, and you will always be a part of the Tiger family. Before we enjoy our breakfast this morning, I'd like to repeat the words of a man that means a lot to the Fort Hays State family, a man by the name of Mr. Bob Lowen. He chose his words so diligently when given a brief history of the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. About 30 years ago, a group of people, including administrators, athletic personnel, and other coaches, got together and brought to fruition a dream that many former coaches, athletes, and concerned citizens have had for quite some time. The dream was the appropriate recognition for deeds well earned by our Tiger athletes, coaches, and for various forms of support from people known as contributors to the Tiger Athletics program. As you can imagine, the first class of inductees was huge and very difficult to arrive. Even now, the chore of selecting the newest members to the Hall of Fame is exceedingly difficult. But today, we are here to add former Tiger athletes to that prestigious list of what we call Hall of Famers. Before we do that, I'd like to introduce some folks at our head table this evening. First off and foremost, our Director of Athletics, Mr. Curtis Hammocky, and his wonderful wife, Annette. And I say this every year, and it is so true. Annette, thank you for all you're doing to keep him in check. Okay? Let's give Annette a round of applause. And my wife, who loves to sit up here every year with me. I promise to embarrass her a little bit every year just because I love her. My wife, Lynette Armstrong, thank you for being here to join us. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Curtis Hammocky to give us a short welcome and our invocation. Thank you.
Thank you, John. First of all, I would like to welcome you all as well, as John already did, and thank you for the effort so many of you made that came from a long ways away to be here and share this magnificent day with us. We appreciate you going through the extra effort to be here, because it is indeed, as John mentioned, one of the most special days of the year. For me, I'm a broken record saying this because I say it every year, but it's absolutely true. This is my favorite day of the year every year. I love this event, and it excites me greatly to be a part of the emotion of getting to do something very special in inducting a new class into our Hall of Fame, which is something very special that I wish at times that we could do for more people, because what it does is so special for those who are a part of it, that it leads you out of here thinking, man, I wish there was a way we could do that for more. But the fact that would dilute it, I guess, makes it all the more special for those who are inducted. So I hope you think the day is as special as we do. We really, really love it, and look forward to honoring you all here today. Before we do that, I would like to introduce those in attendance who are currently in our Hall of Fame that are with us here today. And I'd like to ask you to stand, and when I call your name, and if I miss somebody, if you please let me know. But at the end of all of you standing up, we'll have one round of applause. So I would start with Don and Chris Bickle, who are contributors, who were inducted in 2010. I see Don, but not Chris. Alan Feist, I haven't seen Alan this morning, but Alan was inducted in 1989. He ran track here in 52 through 55. Gene Flehardy is back in the back. He's not going to stand up, but he's a contributor, has worked our basketball games at the sports table for about 50 years. Bill Greening, is Bill here? Didn't see Bill either. Did not make it. Men's basketball. Toby Johnson, I did see Toby. Toby was football, basketball, and track in the mid-50s. Was inducted in 91. Jim Krug, cross-country and track coach here. And from 87 to 05. Frank Leo, baseball here from 69 to 72. I have not seen Frank either, so. Okay, way to go, Frank. John Mason, cross-country and track from 65 to 69, and one of our all-time most decorated athletes in Tiger history. Bob McEnany, track and field cross-country from 76 to 78, is here with us today. Football star from 76, 77, Skip Numerick is here today. Yes, he is. He's right here. He has me down to play on his miserable golf course in Scott City once in a while. It's only miserable because of my performance there. Ed Shoemaker, men's basketball, from 74 to 76. Thank you, Ed. Paul Simmons, football and basketball. Is Paul here? I did not see him yet either. Yes, he is back there. 67 to 69. Thanks for coming, Paul. Ed and Donna Steno, contributors for a long, long time for Tiger Athletics right there. Thank you for being here. And that is the end of what I see. What I've written down is who's here in attendance. Is there anybody else, former inductees, with us today? Then I did really good. Let's give them a round of applause. Our Hall of Fame committee is listed on the front of your program. I'll just let you read that at your convenience, but several of them are here in attendance with us, but I appreciate what our board does in going through this process each spring of making the selections that we do, which is very challenging with all that we have, the great former athletes we have to choose from. So thank you to our board for your work. I would also like to thank in advance, before we eat this morning, Kim Barnes back there in the back and her staff of Chartwell's for preparing the food for us. Thank you, guys. And I don't see Toby Newberger. Where are you, Toby? You out in the hall? Can you come in a second? This is Toby's first year in running this event, and I think she's done an outstanding job. She's the one that's been in contact with all of you leading up to today, organized this whole thing, and Toby, thank you very much for all your efforts. With that said, I think we'll prepare for our brunch here, and when we get, I'm going to have a little prayer here in just a second, and our head table will lead you through there. We'll just go left to right if we can, following around, and but the most important part of that is that we're going first. If you would, join me in prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your presence each day in our lives. We thank you for the many blessings that we've had. We thank you for bringing us all together today for this special event. I ask your blessings on those in attendance today and their families, and that you bless the food we're about to receive. Amen. Okay, we'll start off heading that way. Please get back to your conversation, and we'll eat. After we get done eating, we'll start the program. Thank you all again for being here.
As you're finishing eating, please do so. Take your time. I want you to enjoy our brunch. If you wouldn't mind one more time, I know that our Chartwell's people are in and out of the room, but wow, I look forward to this day because it's an awesome day. But when we started through the line, I was going to ask if Curtis and I could just bring that whole tray of bacon up here and then you guys can eat the rest of it. Let's give them a nice hand. What a great meal. Earlier I mentioned that I've been recruiting students for a little over 20 years, and it prides myself every single day. Mondays and Fridays tend to be our largest visit days on campus, and I can't wait to go out and greet people about coming to our campus, so them have an opportunity to check out Fort Hays State University. But not only that, to show our integrity, our hard work, our determination, and what we want our students to portray as a graduate of Fort Hays State University. And not only that, but our beautiful campus. I cherish every time I have the opportunity to meet with families, to feel that Tiger pride in their heart. I want them to know that we truly care about each and every person, new, on-campus graduate, online student, online graduate, all of our faculty and staff. This is a very special place. I've been able to witness our progression, not only as a student, but as a professional here, our growth, and it makes me smile every single day. I hope you have the opportunity, or take the opportunity, to drive around campus if you haven't already. I know some of you drove in today, and you're like, where's that building again? I think I know where it is. And then you get here, and there's like 5 buildings wrapped around it, and you're like, well, this wasn't here before. So I just challenge you, go over by our residential hall facilities, and you will be absolutely amazed. It's time to turn our attention to why we're here today, and that's to induct the class, the 2019 Hall of Fame members. A unique personal touch to this day is that each inductee will be presented by a family member or a friend. Then the inductee is invited to come up and share a few memories with us. There is programs at your tables. I'd invite you to peruse through here as we're going through our inductees. And the first inductee we would like to welcome to the Tiger Hall of Fame is Mr. Marvin Andrews. A native of Formosa, Kansas, Marvin Andrews was one of the 20 players in Fort Hays State men's basketball history to score over 1,000 points in his career. Playing from 1951 to 1955, Andrews was a 3-time All-CIC selection for the Tigers, earning second-team honors as a sophomore, first-team members as a junior and a senior. He and his teammate, Merrill Butt-Neckel, were the first 2 Tigers to reach 1,000 points in a career, occurring during the 1955 season. A transfer from Kansas State University after his first semester of college, he went on to break the single-season Fort Hays State University scoring record as a junior with 357 points, averaging 17 points a game in over 21-game season. He broke his own single-season record as a senior in 1955 with 374 points and averaged over 18.7 points a game. Andrews held the school record for 9 years until Sam McDowell passed the mark in 1964, reaching over 1,000 points. After graduating from Fort Hays State University, Andrews taught and coached for a year and was drafted to the U.S. Army. While in the Army at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, he played basketball in the Special Services. His team won the 4th Monmouth, New Jersey Army Championship and participated in an all-Army tournament in Monmouth, New Jersey. After his years in the service, Andrew returned to coaching and teaching where he served as a junior high principal in Cheney, Kansas until his death in 1980. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'd like to bring to the podium presenting today Marvin's daughter, Marcy Booker. Marcy, could you join us, please?
As you said, my name is Marcy Booker, and Marvin Andrews was my father. I wish more than anything that he could be here to accept this award today. He would be 85 years old. He passed away nearly 40 years ago in April of 1980. He had lung cancer, and he fought it head on and worked almost up to the day he died at the age of 46. My brother was 17 and I was 13. My dad was married to my mom, Carol Andrews, for 20 years before his death. Mom is here today, but she really did not want to be up here, so I'm going to phone as best I can. My father was 6'5". Most of his friends called him Marv. He had strikingly beautiful blue eyes, and he commanded attention in almost any room he ever entered. They say he was a great teacher and coach, and he had been a junior high and elementary principal for 10 years in Cheney, Kansas before he died. People always listened when he talked, and he always had a joke or a story ready to share. He would have been really funny if he would have been up here, said to me. He could carry on a conversation with absolutely anyone and seemed to know a little bit or even a lot about everything. He liked to tease my friends, and a lot of my friends were just a little bit intimidated by him. I've never heard anyone who could whistle as loud as Dad could. That whistle often silenced an entire cafeteria full of noisy kids in about 3 seconds flat. He was excellent at chess and card games. I was just talking to one of his former teammates, Toby Johnson, and he was talking about what a great pinochle player Dad was. He always knew what cards had been played. He figured out what everyone else had in their hands, and he usually knew what you were going to do before you did it. I'm confident that he used some of those skills and strategies when he played basketball as well. I was in 7th grade when he died, so he only saw me play one season of basketball, but I remember him telling me how good defense and rebounding were often the difference between winning and losing. That's still true, and I think now he was sick at the time, and I bet he would have rather been doing anything else than watching junior high girls basketball, but he was there. Many people have told me over the years that Dad was a phenomenal basketball player. He was a really good man too, and a good father, and I'm always eager to talk to anyone who knew him or watched him play. I know that he worked very hard for the success he gained both on the court and off. He grew up near Mankato, Kansas, and attended Level and Formosa, and graduated from Formosa High School, which were both very small schools. So when he had 2 sisters, one who's here today, and a brother who had special needs, and Dad and his family worked very, very hard to make ends meet. And when he had time, my grandma said he played basketball with a makeshift ball and a hoop in the barn, and he practiced a lot. He had lots of success throughout high school. Stephen Farney is here today. He wrote a book about he's written several books, but one of the books he wrote was about basketball players in Kansas who scored over 50 points in a game. And Dad had a game like that, and he said he's working on a book now. He had 4 40-point games in his career. We're thankful for Stephen Farney for doing that. It's special to our family. He averaged over 35 points his senior year in high school, and he led his team to the state tournament in Hutchinson and was named to the All-State team. He was recruited by KU and K-State, and it's kind of interesting. I still have the letters that he got from Fog Allen and Jack Gardner at KU and K-State. And he wanted to be a veterinarian, so he chose to attend K-State, but he told my mom later that he felt like a fish out of water. It was just too big. And he was fortunately also recruited by Kate Saran, the great Kate Saran, and so he came here to Fort Hays, and it was a really good decision. He lived in a small apartment over the corner bookstore, and he worked at the corner bookstore, and he was very thankful for that family that helped him. He did send money home to his family, which is a little different than what kids do nowadays. And I know, because I've had kids in college, yes. And he even bought his family their first TV for Christmas. did break lots of records. Even though he missed some of the games in the whole first semester, he was only played for 3.5 years. And I know he relished his teammates like Toby and Bud Methel and Melvin Christensen and some of the others. They were all good friends. He also thought very highly of Coach Saran. I have one of the season passes that my grandparents used when they came to games, and one of my cousins, well, 3 of my cousins are here today, and one of them was telling me she remembered coming to watch him play. They came whenever they could, and it was a very exciting time for Fort Hays basketball. Home games were held in the gymnasium that some of you, most of you, probably know used to be played in Sheridan Hall, which was Sheridan Coliseum. They called it the Snake Pit because the games were pretty crazy, and it was, of course, built up like a Coliseum stadium with everything down on the floor happening. Dad was fortunate to have great success on the Army team as well, and I know he relished all of his years here at Fort Hays State. He continued to get his education with his master's degree in administration from Fort Hays State and a specialist degree from Wichita State. He liked to hunt, he liked to fish, he liked to ride horses, he loved to work. He worked and worked and worked, always working to improve our small farm near Cheney. It was interesting because Dad never talked to me ever. I was 13 when he died. He never talked to me about any of his accomplishments on the basketball court or off. I guess he was humble about it. I don't really know, but what I would give, and I know all of you who've lost a special family member too soon, for him to be able to tell me stories. So when I meet someone who knew him, it's always really special to me to hear about, what he did or what he liked or how he played. As a senior at Cheney High School, I visited Hays and Fort Hays for the very first time, looking for that connection to Dad, and it didn't take me long to decide that this was where I wanted to be. His picture was and still is hanging, of course, in the Coliseum behind in Section 8, and so it's fun to see those pictures as him and his teammates there. And it's neat to just walk the same places where he's walked and visit Sheridan and see, remember that's where he played ball. His name was in the basketball programs when I started here, when I came to college here, as being on the scoring list and rebounding and some of the other things. But of course, as they brought in the three-point shot and more games in the season, his name fell off that list after a while, but it still is special. After graduation, I did marry a fellow Fort Hays graduate, my husband Greg, and I came back to Fort Hays and got my master's degree in speech pathology. And after I worked in the schools for a few years, I was asked to teach here, and I've been here for over 20 years, so it's neat to be at the same place where things all got started for him too. I teach in the Communication Sciences and Disorders Department, and Fort Hays has had a huge impact on my life. And my kids, my son Kobe played on the golf team here. My son Brady is a freshman now, and he's on the Fort Hays golf team. My daughter-in-law Sydney just got a business finance degree from here. My son-in-law Fulton got his biology degree here, and he's now in vet school at K-State along with my daughter Morgan. So, and I have a 10-year-old daughter also, and she loves the Tigers, and a 1-year-old granddaughter Aria, and she also loves the Tigers. She says "arr" every time she sees them. So hopefully we'll have more future Tigers as well, and I know my dad would be really proud of that. Some may say that a possum's award is a bit superficial because the athlete is not here to receive it. But actually, it is truly an honor to bring all of our family together to graciously accept this award on my dad's behalf. My mom tells me that my dad talked very fondly about his years at Fort Hays State and his great coach, his teammates, his friends, and all the people of Western Kansas. I still think of him often as I walk this campus and work in Albertson Hall because I know he walked those very same paths and hallways. I would love to share with him all the physical and internal changes that have occurred as Fort Hays State has grown monumentally over the last 64 years when he graduated. I would like to tell him that all those good things that he experienced hasn't really changed that much at all, because in the Hays community, the teachers, the coaches, the students, and good old Fort Hays State University there are still some of the very best people in the world. I'm positive my dad would be proud of this legacy he started for our family at Fort Hays, and he would be so incredibly honored to know that after all these years that the selection committee for Fort Hays State Athletic Hall of Fame thought highly enough of him and his basketball accomplishments to induct him with the best of the best Fort Hays State University athletes. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you, Marcy. Congratulations, Marvin Andrews, and welcome to the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. Our next inductee, Kent Bauer. A native of Radium, Kansas, Kent was a member of the Fort Hays State track and field squad for 4 years, from 1959 to 1962. Bauer was an NAIA national champion in the pole vault as a senior in 1962, clearing a height of 14 feet 1 inch. Bauer was a two-time All-American performer at Fort Hays, also finishing third in the nation as a freshman in 1959. He was a CIC champion in the pole vault his final 2 years as a Tiger, set the school record at the time in 1962 of 14 feet 6.5 inches in tying for the first at the Missouri Valley AAU meet. Bauer was a recipient of the Fort Hays State Bush Gross Award. Upon graduation from Fort Hays and then Wichita State University, Bauer worked as an aircraft engineer and was named the Boeing Wichita Engineer of the Year. He still resides in Wichita, Kansas today. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting for our next inductee, Kent Bauer, is his wife, Sharon. Sharon, could you please join us?
I'm Sharon Bauer, and I have been married to Kent for 8.5 years. I'm also have got my master's degree from Fort Hays, so go Tigers. Today, as you heard, Kent is being inducted into this Athletic Hall of Fame. It's his second award. You've heard that too, but the Bush Gross Award was awarded to him in 1962. That award was granted to people on the basis of scholarship, leadership, character, and athletic achievement. At the time that he received the Bush Gross Award, Kent was completing studies in mathematics here at Fort Hays before earning an engineering degree from Wichita State. He worked for Boeing as an aerospace engineer. Kent and his wife Karen raised 3 children, 2 of whom work in some capacity in aviation, while his daughter is an occupational therapist. He has 8 grandchildren who call him Super G-Paw to show their love and admiration. Kent continued his devotion to athletics by running in 10K events throughout his 40s and by riding in back across Kansas 3 different times. He currently devotes many hours to working on Doc, the B-29 vintage airplane, and he has been working on Doc for over 10 years. He also enjoys flying his own airplane, a plane that he built himself. Kent has lived his entire life on the basis of those qualities which earned him that Bush Gross Award 50 years ago. Thank you.
Well, I wish to thanks to Fort Hays State and in particular the athletic department for this honor, and congratulations to all the other inductees into the hall. As John said, I came from Radium, Kansas, which probably no one has ever heard of. not a very big place. There were 9 in my graduating class. So you can imagine what a shock it was to get to Fort Hays State. To be in a classroom with 70 or 80 students in some cases. I came to Fort Hays State with my best friend, Jack Bordewick, and he was a walk-on onto the football team and made the team as a freshman, and I thought, well, that's a pretty good deal. So in basketball season, we both started to walk on for the basketball. That didn't quite work out so well for either one of us. So, in keeping with the tradition we had established, I decided to walk onto the track team. I met Alec Francis, the then track coach. He was kind enough to say, well, I think I've heard of you. So, he gave me the equipment I needed, gave me an old aluminum vaulting pole, and sent me out onto the track with about 3 other vaulters that were here. And I guess as we say, the rest is history. So thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations, Kent Bauer, and welcome to the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. Our next inductee is Mr. Jack Harms. A native of Ellenwood, Kansas, Jack competed for the Fort Hays State cross country and track and field squads from 63 to 66. He was the NAIA Indoor National Champion in the 880-yard run in 1966. Finished 3rd in the event at Nationals during the outdoor season, earning All-America honors for both indoor and outdoor that year. He helped the team to an outdoor conference championship while finishing 2nd at indoor nationals and 3rd at outdoor nationals. Overall, Harms was a 4-time All-America performer in track and field and was a member of the Fort Hays State University National Champion cross-country teams in 63 and 65. Along with being part of 2 national championship teams, he also helped cross-country to a 2nd place finish at nationals in 64 and a pair of conference championships at his time at Fort Hays State University. Now living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Harms is retired from the British Petroleum Controllers Department, where he also worked for the PricewaterhouseCoopers and the IBM Global Business Group earlier in his career. Presenting today for Mr. Jack Harms is Mr. John Mason. John, could you please join us?
Good morning. Congratulations this year's 7 inductees. Here just a couple of days ago, I talked to Curtis, and I told Curtis I had to introduce inductee Jack Harms. And I said, Curtis, how many people do you expect I'll have to stand up in front of and give an introduction speech? Curtis said, Mason, I've heard you talk. I suspect this place will sweep 150 people. I could stand up here for not just a few minutes, but for an hour and talk about the accomplishments of Jack Harms, but I'm afraid that might become a bedtime story. If I had to choose 2 words to describe Jack Harms, those 2 words would be role model. A role model is a person who serves as an example by influencing others. When I was a senior in high school, I had several role models on the Fort Hays State cross-country and track teams, and one was Jack Harms. These role models who I looked up to helped me shape my difficult decision where I went to college. While in high school, I read and heard about the great cross-country teams at Fort Hays State, especially the 63 team that won the first ever National Cross-Country Championship title. Of those 7 runners, Jack Harms was on that team. I had personally never met any of my role models while in high school. My freshman year of college and my very first day on campus, the cross-country had a fun run around Custer Island. I was in awe. Here I run with Jack Harms and other members of the National Cross-Country team from the year before. It was a very hot Sunday afternoon, and the fun run became a 6-mile sprint, thanks to Jack. During the 6 miles, I got a good look at the back ends. I breathed a lot of dust and sometimes gas. We finished the run, and Jack says, great run. They all looked fresh. I was still exhausted. Yes, that was my introduction to Fort Hays State and my role model, Jack Harms. Not only was Jack on the 63 National Cross Country Championship team, but also on the 65 National Cross Country team, has scored an incredibly low 42 points. Jack is one of only 9 athletes ever to run on 2 National Cross Country Championships teams. This role model of mine was raised in the huge metropolis of Elwood, Kansas. And as Jack would tell it, he was an unknown when he came to Fort Hays. He said he would describe himself as a walk-on. Jack came to Fort Hays with a dream, and Coach Francis gave him a blueprint: how to win, how to compete, and how to be a champion. It was all about Jack's focus, determination, and setting goals that led him a scholarship, and eventually became one of Fort Hays' greatest middle distance runners. Jack was a great relay runner. His name is still on 2 of the oldest school records, the indoor 2-mile relay and sprint medley relay. In '66, Jack had a fantastic year running on relays. Jack was a major contributor getting the relay team on the podium in the National Indoor Track Championships in the 2-mile relay, where they placed 3rd, plus the National Outdoor Championships in track in the 1-mile relay, where they placed 2nd. Along the way, Fort Hays placed 2nd in the indoor championships and 3rd in the outdoor championships. Jack would say he's lucky to run on relay team with unbelievable, incredible talent. The reality is the other 3 runners were the lucky ones to go on his relay team. Many times I saw Jack anchor a relay team in victory, and the teammates would swarm him with congratulations. The only thing he wanted to do was die. His butt was stiff and his legs he couldn't feel. While running at Fort Hays, Jack never had an indoor facility to train in during the months. Instead, when the weather was bad, he'd run laps back and forth on the west stands at Lewis Field. During the spring, I did notice Jack, he preferred to run early in the morning, before his brain figured out exactly what he's doing to his body. In order to win a national title, one has to have ability, and sometimes one has to have some luck too. Well, Jack had ability and much more. Back in '66, Jack was the first and still the only Tiger to ever win an 880, or what they call the 800 meters today, indoors. That same year, Jack finished his senior year by placing 3rd in the National Outdoor Championships in the 880-yard run. Jack's PR of 149.8 in the 880 is the 3rd fastest ever run by a Fort Hays Tiger. Wow, what a career, Jack. I was the one that had the luck, because the first day I met Jack, I was keenly aware of what a special person and what a special teammate he was. How lucky can a guy be to be on the same track team with Jack Harms. Even after graduating from Fort Hays, Jack still had a passion for running. Jack's wife Ann says that when he got married, he had more running clothes than regular clothes in the laundry pile. Jack knows exactly where 1 mile is from the front door in any direction. His treadmill has more miles than his car. And Jack was always excited about having his next birthday, because it meant he'd be in a new age group in road races. Well, Jack, here you are this morning. No more repeat quarters on the track, no more laps back and forth in the Lewisville Stadium, no more long runs around Cahill, and no more Emporia Hornets to beat. Your track journey is complete. You've already been inducted in the Sports Hall of Fame twice, as a member of the National Cross Country Championship teams of '63 and '65. Now you're getting inducted into the Fort Hays State Sports Hall of Fame individually, where legends go. I am honored to present to you my role model, my teammate, my friend, 4-time All-American Jack Harms. That's a tough act to follow. Okay. this for a few years, after you retire, you kind of get away from the public speaking. Mine was all the board members and everything else. So, I'm honored, humbled, and deeply gratified to take my place with the other members of Fort Hays State Sports Hall of Fame. I would like to thank members of the Fort Sports Hall of Fame Committee for their nomination and selection as a 2019 inductee, and congratulations to the other inductees. I think this whole setup was by age, so I'm right in the middle. Got more hair than some. I would like to thank President Mason of the Fort Hays State University for her supporting events that honor student achievements in both academics and athletics. I can see that we've got a lot of people that are doing things for Fort Hays State. I'd like to thank Paul and his staff for hosting this event and coordinating the activities that make this a memorial event. I would like to thank my coaches, Jack Bowen from Ellenwood Rural High School for his guidance and friendship, Alex Francis from Fort Hays State College, naturally, who was firm and demanding during training activities, but treated me with sincere respect and kindness outside of training. What could have been better? If I did not mention my mother and father, I'd be remiss. They were proud that I graduated from Fort Hays as well as my athletic accomplishments. I'm certain they're with us today. Let me introduce you to my wife. Although her athletic loyalties are not with Fort Hays State, but for Texas and Texas Tech, she has not been shy telling everyone she meets about the beautiful campus she visited called Fort Hays State University. She attended the induction ceremony in 1963 and 65, or for the 1963 and 65 national championships in 2005. Since receiving notification of my selection, she has expressed eagerness to return. So we're here. Thanks, Hannah, for all the things you've done for me and your support. Her name is Annie, by the way, I left that out. Finally, my thanks to all the 1963 and 66 through 66 members of the Fort Hays State track teams. I consider them all members of the extended family and thank them for a lot of great memories. We've been sharing some today just sitting at this table. A lot of the things John mentioned too. He's pretty fluent with English language. I will close by thanking all of you for your attendance and for being here and honoring the inductees.
One of my favorite things to say. Congratulations, Jack Harms, and welcome to the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. Our next inductee is Bill Hall, a native of Hays, America. Bill Hall played baseball 2 years at Fort Hays State from 73 to 74 as a right fielder. He was a two-time All-Conference, All-District 10 performer while claiming All-American honors as a senior in 1974. He led Fort Hays in batting average as a junior in 73 at .350, while recording 8 doubles, a home run, and 26 RBIs, earning All-Conference First Team and All-District honorable mention. As a senior in 1974, Hall produced a .316 batting average, 16 doubles, a triple, a couple of bombs, and 33 RBIs, and scored 35 times. He earned All-District 10, All-Area 3, and All-American honors that season. Hall helped the Tigers to an NAIA national tournament appearances both years, including an appearance at the championship side in 1974 after the team was champions of Area 3. Hall now resides in Missoula, Montana, where he is the General Agent Manager for Old American Insurance. Presenting today for Bill Hall is Mr. Frank Leo. Frank.
all the inductees today. It is it's a big event for all of you, and enjoy your day. You know, it's my honor, Bill, to present you today. You were part of that first coaching group that I kind of got me kind of hooked on coaching. Thanks, by the way. As 39 years later, I'm still doing it. So it's an honor and pleasure to present Bill Hall today to be inducted into 2019 All-American Hall of Fame class. You know, that year I coached Bill, I got to know him kind of personally too, but Bill was an outfielder, and you know, our players called him Billy Glide with the ease that he would go after balls out in right field. And look at him today, he could probably still go get them in his mind, but I don't know. I don't think the body can still do it. Not only that though, Bill was our leadoff hitter, and you know, he could hit from the left side with the best of them. And put a bat in his hand, and he knew what to do with it. And, it was always a pleasure to write his name into the lineup. You know, his accomplishments, you know, have been mentioned, and to become a baseball All-American, it's not an easy chore. And you look at his numbers. You know, the year he became an All-American, he had 35 runs, 35 RBIs, 33 runs scored. You know, back in those days, we played about 40 games. That's a big catalyst. And to have a team be successful the way we were, it's only because those guys in the top of the order got the job done, and that was Bill. It's been mentioned that Bill played on a 1974 team that made it to the NAIA World Series. You know, the first time and only time a baseball team here made it to the NAIA World Series. We did have a successful team make it to the NCAA Division II World Series also. It wasn't an easy road. Back then we had to get through the District 10 championships, and we wound up beating Benedictine in the championship game. Then we moved down to Oklahoma City to play in the Area 3 tournament, and that was a tough tournament in respect that there's a lot of rain going on down there. As a matter of fact, championship day had to be pushed back 2 days before we compete against Southeastern State Oklahoma for the championship. Well, you can imagine, especially all you athletes in here, sitting around waiting and waiting for the rain to stop to get to play that championship game. It wasn't easy, but the Tigers rose to the occasion that day, and they made it pretty exciting. It was a walk-off hit in the bottom of the 9th inning that moved us on to St. Joe, Missouri. That was a big day for 4 days baseball. The NAIA World Series, we opened up game 1 at 6 p.m. in St. Joe. We were playing against Sam Houston State. But Bill and Linda had some other ideas that day, and they decided to plan a wedding way back when, and it happened to be the same day. You know, guys, today you can pick up the telephone, put it by your ear, and find out what's going on at the wedding, where they're at. Well, they were fortunate. We didn't have phones, but they were fortunate that after the ceremony and after a little reception, we had a private plane flew Bill and Linda. They jumped out of their tuxedo and wedding gowns. And Bill put on his baseball uniform, and they hopped on a plane for St. Joe, Missouri. And they landed about 5:30, game time's at 6. So you can imagine what's going through the coaching mind. Where do we put him in the lineup? He's been our leadoff hitter. We don't have cell phones. We're trying to keep in touch the best we could. We knew that he left. The arrival time was supposed to be about 5:30. My wife Barb was at the airport to pick Bill and Linda up. So as we make out this lineup, we know we wanted Bill in there somewhere. He's been our leadoff hitter. We had to move Keith Harper to the leadoff spot, and we put Bill down in the 9th spot. We were visitors that day, because just in case we extended that first inning, we wanted Bill to be able to get us at bat. Well, unfortunately, we went in order pretty quick, but Bill did get there in time. We replaced the 9-hole hitter with Bill, and we were off and running. Unfortunately, we didn't fare too well in that game, but it is a memory I know Bill and Linda will have forever. So are we. coaching staff figuring out we need Bill, he's going to be here. Well, he did get here, and it was a great memory for all of us. You know, the great Yogi Berra once said, hit them where they ain't. And Bill was very apt at doing that. As a matter of fact, the left field line he owned, because that's where most of his doubles went. And Bill had a big knack for doing this. And obviously, you get a nickname when you do something. And I now want you to please join me, bring to the plate one more time what his teammates affectionately call him, Billy Doubles Hall.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee, like we all have, and all the other inductees. We did take time, as John suggested yesterday, Monday night, to go through campus and see all the improvements, to see everything. It was unbelievable. Walked through the hallway where all the photos of the previous inductees are. One of you already mentioned about it. This is a humbling experience. Walking down that hallway, it's looking at those names, pictures on the wall. That will really set you back. It's truly a humbling experience. So congratulations to all of you. Looking at Maddie Hall over here, I'm just glad I didn't have to face her. That would not have been good. I'd like to thank my head coach, Earl Hobbs, who's not with us anymore. Coach Hobbs welcomed me when I transferred in the 4 days of my junior year from Open Arms. In those days it was a little different. He wasn't hired to be the baseball coach. He was the dean of students. And through the late 60s, early 70s, other schools were dropping baseball, as a matter of fact. And Coach Hobbs just made it his mission to keep 4 days baseball alive and well. And I'll always be indebted to him for that. He's an old friend, and just glad to acknowledge Coach Hobbs. And Frank, because Coach Hobbs was the dean, students couldn't even be at all of our games, much less all the practices. He under commitments, and so Frank, in name, was the assistant coach. Today we would call him the head assistant or the assistant head coach, like football teams do. Frank ran our practices, made out the lineups, etc. It was almost a general manager-coach relationship. And Frank, I wouldn't be here without you. Certainly appreciate it. So, thanks, Frank. It's kind of a cliche. We all say in a team sport like baseball, thank our teammates. But I am under absolutely no illusion that I would not be here without the accomplishments that the teams in 73, especially 74, did. That's the only reason I'm up here is because of what we did, being the only Indiana team to ever go to the World Series. Only one of two ever in 4 days, number 65 years in 4 days baseball. So to all my old teammates that made that possible, I truly appreciate it. After my junior year, Keith Harper and Galen Thomas and I were the only three coming back. So we had no idea what was about to happen for my senior year. So we, Linda, my fiance, and I made plans to be married on June 1st. So thinking the season would have been over way before then. So that's why the wedding date and the first game of the World Series was on the same day. We all thank our families too, and I certainly, thank my Linda #1 for putting up and dealing with getting married and going on honeymoon to St. Joe, Missouri. Riding home after the tournament was over on a team bus. And to get us there, people need to put close their ears on the ring officials here. Thank Jim Thurman, old family friend of ours from Great Bend, Kansas, picked us up in a private plane to take us to the tournament. There had to be some NCAA violations there. Coach takes you up in a private plane. I'm not sure we could have done that today. But in those days, it was fine. And enough we kind of looked the other way. So family, absolutely important. Best man in Linden in my wedding, Rich Green's here. I'm surprised he didn't order, if you marry Bill, you're married into baseball. It's not just him. But Rich didn't do that, so we were able to pull that off. In closing, I told Frank he's the best coach I ever had. Actually, Frank is probably the second best I ever had. My best coach I ever had was my third grade, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old coach, or 9, 10, 11. Played 3 years of Little League Baseball back in Great Bend, Kansas. My dad was the coach. And we never lost a game in 3 years. He died a month after that, when I was 11 years old. And when it was 3 years, he always told me, Billy, someday you're going to be a Hall of Famer. Dad, I know you're listening, and I hope you're proud. Thank you.
Congratulations, Bill Hall, and welcome to the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. Our next inductee, Chris Dre, a native of Plain, Wisconsin. Chris was a 3-time All-CSIC performer in women's basketball, playing from 1986 to 1990. She set the Fort Hays women's basketball career rebounding record for the program with 901 in 1990. She was one of 20 1,000-point scorers in the program's history, ranking 9th all-time scoring list with 1,321 points, and ranked 3rd on the list at the end of her career. She ranked 7th all-time on the all-time list at Fort Hays in field goals made with 548, and 7th in blocked shots with 64. She led the team in rebounding 3 of 4 years, including an impressive 10 rebounds per game as a freshman in 86 and 87. In 1989 and 90, an All-District 10 selection, and would have easily been an all-conference performer for a 4th straight year. But Fort Hays did not have a conference that season. It's transitioned from the CSIC to the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Beyond her days at Fort Hays State, Chris went on to have a successful coaching career of over 25 years, earning college and high school Conference Coach of the Year honors in her home state of Wisconsin. Currently, she serves as the Director of Community Relations and Marketing at the Richland Hospital in Richland Center, Wisconsin, but resides in our hometown of Plain, Wisconsin. Presenting Chris today into the Hall of Fame is her daughter, Shannon Dre. Shannon?
Hi. Today we are here to celebrate the induction of several incredibly talented and hardworking athletes into the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame, including my mother, Chris Dre. I was honored when she asked me to introduce her, but I was worried I wouldn't know what to say. After all, I wasn't exactly here during her college career, and it doesn't seem like you all would want to hear about how amazing a mother she is. So instead, her friend and former teammate Jody agreed to write this introduction, but she couldn't be here to say it today, so you're all stuck with me. Sorry. In the fall of 1986, Chris Weiser made a bold move and traveled across the country far away from her hometown to a place called Hays, Kansas, to become a member of the Fort Hays State Lady Tigers basketball team. She didn't know anyone other than Coach Klein, who was also in his first year at Fort Hays, but that would soon change. The first thing I noticed about Chris when I met her was, of course, her size and physicality, but also that crazy Wisconsin accent. Sorry if I can't do that justice, because I also have the Wisconsin accent. I still remember laughing and telling her to say it again as we all tried to mimic her, and she would shake her head and say, "No, that's not right," in her high-pitched voice. Chris was hardly a wallflower and soon became well known across campus because of her big personality and basketball ability. It also didn't hurt that you could pick us out immediately as we wore those black and gold corduroy Lady Tiger coats all of the time. Not even sure I owned another coat that year. I could go on and on about what a tremendous basketball player Chris was at Fort Hays, and all of it would be absolutely true. Chris was an all-district and all-conference performer all 4 years and left her mark on the records book, scoring well over 1,000 points and grabbing over 900 rebounds in her 4 years. Both of these marks have withstood the years, as she is still third on the all-time rebounding list and 9th in scoring, along with being 7th in both block shots and field goals made. Not too bad for a gal from Grand Valley. It's even more impressive when you realize Chris only played half of her sophomore year due to injury. Following that season, she had shoulder surgery and spent the entire summer rehabbing. At the beginning of her junior year, Chris still couldn't lift her arm up above her head completely, but she continued to play and still managed to score 251 points and grab 148 rebounds that season. That summer was probably the only time I did beat her in one-on-one, and she did not like that one bit. Chris played with a passion that inspired those around her to work and compete just as hard as she did. She was very strong and very determined, and anyone that thought they were going to out-muscle her for a position or take a rebound away from her had another thing coming. And God help you if you had any delusion of taking a charge from her and living to tell about it. Every time she took to the court, she played to win. Even in practice, we would have some interesting moments as things escalated on our team as we battled on a daily basis. It was not uncommon at all to have a little shoving and yelling, and we'd all have to take a water break to cool off before going back to practice. We were all very competitive and did not take losing well. I remember Chris and Annette knocking down guards as they ran through the lane saying, "Guards are not allowed in here." And one particular time, Lee picking herself up off the floor and yelling, "But I'm on your team." "Doesn't matter," they said, "no guards." I spent a good portion of my career running away from Chris in practice as I continually ran side to side and off every screen I could, figuring out if she can't find me, she can't do anything else to me. I wasn't so lucky one day on defense, as I remember doubling down on a net in the post and taking an elbow to the forehead that required stitches with what else? Black thread from the football team position, making me look like Frankenstein for the next week. That first year wasn't easy, and as a team we struggled at times, having losing streaks that seemed to go on several games at a time before we made a run back at the end to almost get back to 500. I remember Coach Klein told us, "We may not be the most talented team in the conference, but we will definitely be in the best shape." Boy, oh boy, he wasn't kidding about that, as we ran and ran and ran some more. Inside, outside, and those super fun Saturday morning jogs for miles. Coach tried to make us love running as much as he did, which definitely did not happen, but it did separate the strong from the weak, and out of 6 freshmen on the roster that year, only 2, Chris and I, returned the next year. Our sophomore year, we added Annette, Julie, and Lee, and a few others for a little family, and for the rest of the time at Fort Hays, we would spend countless hours together with them, not only at the gym, but at Big A and Kiz's apartment next to campus, and pretty much everywhere we went. Each year we got a little better as we went from 14-18 to 14-14 to 19-8, second in CSIC, ended up at 22-7 our senior year and the conference champs. Even though we fell short of advancing in the playoffs as far as we wanted, the next year the team took it all the way to win a national championship with basically the same group of players from our team, minus the 2 seniors. As soon as they got rid of our dead weight, they were unstoppable. I feel one of the reasons we were so successful is that we were all friends and spent time on and off the court together. For the most part, we were all small-town Kansas girls with a few good transplants that proved we could indeed play the game. I loved my time at Fort Hays and have tons of very fond memories, and I owe that to all of my friends and teammates like Chris. I was very fortunate to be able to play 4 years on the team with her, but even luckier to call her one of my best friends. Chris made my Hall of Fame many years ago, as she has stood beside me through good times and bad. I know I can always count on her when I need her. She will be there by my side. Please join me in recognizing one heck of a basketball player and an even better person, Chris Pfizer-Drake, my one and only biggin.
congratulate all the fantastic athletes in the room. I mean, listening to your stories makes you feel really, really humble. And I thank the committee for choosing me to be part of this spectacular group. I thank Shannon, my daughter, for sharing Jody's words. Jody's a dandy. But what great times we had at Fort Hays State University. Playing basketball here was a dream come true for me. From an early age, I loved playing basketball and dreamed of someday being a star. You know, that little kid that's out there shooting hoops and pretending that it's, you know, going into overtime, make a free throw, and you win the state championship kind of kid. It might sound a little arrogant, but looking back, it was that dream and all the amazing people that found me and supported me, including my family, friends, teammates, and coaches that brought me to this day. And I'm truly, truly proud to be here. Long before I arrived here, I can remember throwing a ball, I don't even think it was a basketball, at a wire hoop that I'd tied to a piece of baler twine and was hanging on the front of the barn. But later I was fortunate to have fantastic junior high and high school coaches, Mike Stoddard, Bob Neville, Fred Dillon, and Ron Donahoe, who saw the roughness in me and taught me how to play basketball. And because they believed in fundamentals, gave me a really strong base to build my college career on. Here I played for National Coach of the Year and John Klein and practiced against All-Americans and superstars every day, and we were indeed heated about it. I competed every day against people who were more talented than I was and who were as equally hungry to play college basketball. Teammates like Annette Wiles and Penny Fisher, Stacy Hadley, Lynette Nickel, and Jody Miller all pushed me really hard every day to be better, but they always made me remember that we're on the same team. We won, we laughed, we cried together, and when we lost, it was when we cried a lot, because we were indeed competitive. Coach Klein and Cheryl Baker and Tom Burkholder pushed me further than I ever thought I could be pushed myself. It's funny, when you come to college, if you had a good high school career, you really thought you were something, and you get here and it's immediately a piece of humble pie because everybody was great in high school when you get to college. While I was here, I was blessed to have many friends take me under their arms, and I'm still connected to many of them now 30 years later. Folks like Wendy LeBac, Jody Miller, Lynette Nickel, Annette Wiles, Diane O'Brien. The list could go on, and I apologize if I forgot someone. But they shared their homes and their families with me. And for a kid who's from Wisconsin, having folks like that right here in town, it was incredibly important to me. And I love them, and I thank them for being my family away from home. So what's left after a basketball career? The stuff that was always there. My fantastic family, and if I look at my table, I know how blessed I am. They all came from Wisconsin, and I'm so tickled they're here to share today. My husband of 28 years, Tim, and 2 of my 3 children, Keegan and Shannon, are here today. My other son is home working, and I have 3 grandchildren with him, thanks to him. So thinking of them today as well. And while I'm proud of this honor, I wanted to tell them that it pales in comparison to being their mom and their grandma and Tim's wife. This almost seems like a lifetime ago for me. I'm sure it does for some of you as well. I'm grateful for my godmother, my sisters, my sister, my cousins, my nieces, and my nephews, and friends who all made the trip as well with me. I do have a special pearl of wisdom to share with any of the young folks that are here today, especially for Keegan, Shannon, Ethan, Emma, Ann, Alec, and Jay. Dream big. It doesn't have to be sports related, but it does have to be big. Don't be afraid of failure, because it teaches you more than success sometimes. Dream big, because dreaming big is what it takes to have something big happen to you. I promise that if you dream big, great people will find you and join you in achieving your dream. My story could definitely be anybody's story. And finally, I want to say to my dad, you and Mom made me who I am today because of who you are. Mom was a fighter and was a stellar athlete before girls got to play sports. And my dad is a community-minded team player who gave me my size, my strength, and a desire to exceed expectations. You sacrificed so that I could chase my dream and come here. So I want to thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations, Chris Dre, and welcome to the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. Our next inductee is Kelly Gunning, a native of Aurora, Colorado. Kelly played volleyball at Fort Hays State from 02 to 05, as a two-time All-American selection of the Tiger football team as a libero. Defensive specialist, earned third-team honors as a junior in 04 and second-team honors as a senior in 05, while earning All-Region and All-RMAC first-team honors each year. She was the RMAC Defensive Player of the Year 3 times from 03 to 05, owns the Fort Hays career record for digs with 2,421, the only player in the program's NCAA Division II history with at least 2,000. She averaged 5.17 digs per set in her career, the only player in the program's Division II history with an average of 5 or more. She owns the 2 highest dig totals for a season in the rally scoring era at Fort Hays. She helped the team to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances in 03 and 04, and the 2014 was the most successful in program history, reaching the finals of the NCAA Regional Round of 16 with a record of 31-5 overall. Kelly now lives in Parker, Colorado with her husband and 2 children. Presenting today is Max Skidmore, Kelly's father. Max, will you please join us?
Well, I'm humbled to be here, listening to the stories. And I gotta tell you, my wife and I are currently serving a mission, and we're doing an 18-month service in Tacoma, Washington. So she couldn't be here, but I am grateful to be here. There's so many memories last night driving in here. Claire and I were huge fans. I'm not sure we missed any games. I remember one time the volleyball team was coming to Colorado. I think they were going to play 3 games over a weekend. One starting maybe in Durango and ending up in Grand Junction. And as fate would have it, we have a problem with our car and the starter doesn't work. So we decided to go anyway. And throughout that weekend, we had to make sure that anywhere we parked the car, we had an incline so that somebody could push us to get us started. So Kelly and her teammates had to push us several times to get us back on the road. We moved to Denver in 1980, and Kelly was born 4 years later. About a year after we moved there, I had a friend who asked me if I would help him coach, I guess what I would call a Little League football team. Now, Ken was a real football player. He had played for the Minnesota Vikings. But we only had our son was just a few months old when I was helping Ken. And I remember going back to work at IBM, and a friend asked me how my weekend was. And I was telling him, I said, I'm helping a friend coach this Little League football team, and these are only like 9-year-olds or 10-year-olds. And I said, I couldn't believe how psycho some of the parents were. I mean, they were just, you thought this was life or death to these parents on the sidelines. And Jim told me, he said, Max, I was helping a friend coach a football team like that, and I was one of those psycho parents on the sideline. And one day the head coach called me aside and he said, Jim, how many of these kids do you think will play high school football? And Jim thought, he said, well, maybe 4 if we're lucky. How many of these kids do you think will play college football? Wow. 1, a long shot, maybe. And he said, how many of these kids do you think are going to make a living from playing football? Jim said, none. And the head coach said, that's right, Jim. We have a chance to teach these kids something important. Let's not screw it up by worrying about football. Now hold on to that story. A number of years later, I got to go to a business seminar in Columbus, Ohio, and it was held at Ohio State University. They have a proud tradition in football. And so during a break, I go down to what was kind of like a gift shop in the athletic building, and I'm looking at all the cool memorabilia down there and all of the wonderful memories they have. But there's one banner they have hanging down there that has a quote from Woody Hayes. He was their legendary football coach, head football coach. Now, before I tell you what he said, I need to remind you of college football's best player wins the Heisman Trophy. Each year, they select the best college football player in America and award him the Heisman Trophy. There's only one person who's won it twice. His name is Archie Griffin. He played at Ohio State. Here's what Woody Hayes said about Archie Griffin. He said, he's a better young man than he is a football player. And he's the best football player I've ever seen. So you've heard of Kelly's accomplishments in volleyball. I want to tell you about what I would consider some of her other accomplishments. We had 5 kids. Claire and I were married for 7 years before we had our first baby, and I had given some thought to what were some of those important things that I would like my kids to know or to do. And I sort of settled on 3. 1 was self-confidence, 2 was work, and the third one was being dependable or responsible. I wanted my kids to be self-confident. I didn't care if they made bad decisions as long as they made the decision and they didn't let their peers pressure them into something. So as long as they were self-confident enough to make their own decisions, even if it was a bad one, I was going to be okay with that. Let me tell you about Kelly. So you all know that kids are notoriously mean to somebody that's different. So there's a little friend that Kelly has, and her name is Jill. And she's got some kind of a disability. And where most of Kelly's peers would make fun of Jill, Kelly went the other direction. She was a friend of Jill's. She'd sit by her on the bus, try to help her, get through the day. That takes self-confidence. Now, another way that Kelly is self-confident is she's not afraid to do what she wants. We were traveling one time. We were going to dinner in a restaurant in Florida, and Kelly was kind of a picky eater. She only liked hamburgers, and on the menu there was no hamburger. So here's what Kelly ordered. She ordered a bacon cheeseburger and told the waitress, hold the bacon and hold the cheese. Let's talk about her work ethic. Kelly's about 5 years old, and I'm washing my car one Saturday, and I pulled it up under a tree, and I've got this chamois, that leather thing you're drying it off with, and Kelly's out there, and she wants to help, which I think is good, because I really want my kids to learn to work. So I'm up at the front drying off, I come back to the back, here's my little 5-year-old girl, she has picked up a rock in each hand, and she's mimicking my motion as she drives off the back of the car. Now, initially I wanted to be mad at her, and I was mad at her. But then I remembered that I wanted her to learn to work, and she was so proud of herself because she was trying to work that I couldn't yell at her. Now, another time, we had a big yard in those days when we raised our 5 kids, and we would frequently go out on Saturdays to pull weeds out of the rocks. And I didn't find out until much later in life from her sisters that Kelly was creative and innovative, and rather than pull the weeds, she just covered them up with rocks. Let's talk about being dependable. Kelly was in high school, and she had a car that we had gotten for her and her sisters, and she got a speeding ticket. And I told her, I'm not going to pay that ticket. The ticket cost her $100. I don't know how long later she got a second speeding ticket. another $100. She didn't seem to be learning anything from that. When she got her third speeding ticket, the judge took her driver's license away from her. And I told her, I said, Kelly, this is not my problem, and I am not going to be your personal chauffeur. That wouldn't teach you anything. If I was your personal chauffeur, life would actually be better, right? I didn't have to find a parking place. Somebody comes and picks me up, somebody drops me off, wherever I go. I said, so, you know what? You can ride a bus to school, but you might not be able to play volleyball if you can't find a ride. You'll have to figure it out. That got her attention. And I'm grateful that she's learned how to be dependable. Say what you'll do and do what you'll say. I'm very proud of her for that. And lastly, although it wasn't one of the things that I think is super important, Kelly is competitive. When I worked at IBM, our branch manager was a guy who would play golf, and if he hit a bad shot, he would throw his clubs, and he'd curse and swear. And somebody was talking about it one time, and they said, oh, Ron is so competitive. And I said, that's not competitive, that's childish. Here's competitive. I remember watching Tom Watson at a golf tournament. He missed a 4-foot downhill breaking putt, and he went to the putting green afterwards, and he practiced for hours that same putt. That's competitive. People that will do that. When Kelly got to high school, she's a freshman, and on her team is this senior who is a volleyball stud. Her name was Catherine Wiener. And one of the things that all the volleyball team had to do was that at the end of kind of the training, summer training, was they had to run a mile together. And Kelly, as a little 14-year-old freshman, is running stride and stride with stud Catherine Wiener and beat her at the end. That's quiet competitiveness. I didn't really understand how good Kelly was. I remember when she was a sophomore in high school, I remember telling her, this sounds so stupid. I said, Kelly, would you rather be a star player, starter on the junior varsity, or would you rather be, a bench warmer that never gets to play on the varsity? And I can't remember what she said. Turns out she was a starter and a star on the varsity as a sophomore. I had no idea how good she was. But to conclude, I'd like to tell you that I'm proud of Kelly for the volleyball player she was, but I'm more proud of her for the young lady that she is. And to paraphrase Woody Hayes, Kelly is a better woman than she is a volleyball player, and she was one of the best volleyball players I knew. Thank you.
I haven't been back since I was a player, which was almost 15 years ago. So as we drove into town yesterday, it was so fun to show my family the town. And our daughter, who's 4, who's mostly just been excited to go to the hotel. And about every 20 minutes on the drive over here for the 5 hours, are we there yet? Are we to the hotel yet? She just couldn't wait to go swimming. So we did. We went to the hotel and we swam first because we wanted to take care of that for our little Brecklin. But after that, we toured around campus and we went to the gym, and I was just flooded with all of these memories about how much fun I had for the 4 years that I was here. And I wanted to just share some of those with you. As we drove down Prince Street, I remembered there was an ice cream shop, and I don't even remember the name of it, but they had Waffle Cone Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, you could go to this ice cream shop and you could get a waffle cone for $1, and they filled it to the brim with ice cream. And it wasn't really about the ice cream, although I love ice cream still. It was about going there with my teammates. And every Wednesday we went as a team, and we did everything together. And Waffle Cone Wednesday is just a reminder of that bond that we created. We played together, we trained together, we lifted weights together, we took classes when we could together. All those times on the road, I was just flooded with memories driving back into town. as we walked around the gym, showing my family where I played, I was remembering how grateful I was to play for Jesse Mahoney. He was the head coach during 3 of my 4 years here, and I'm so grateful that our paths crossed at the same time. He was such an incredible coach, and as I think about all the characteristics that he had, just passionate about the sports, hardworking, dedicated. Mostly what I loved about Jesse Mahoney was how he created a desire for you to do your best, and we all did. We all did our best for him. He was just such a fun person to play for. Another special memory that I had while we were walking around the gym yesterday was being a part of a program called Volley Backers. And Volley Backers was a little club that was created during my time here, and it was filled with some of our teachers, our faculty members, people in the community that had a relationship with the players or didn't, who wanted to support the volleyball team, and then family. And after every home game, we would go into this room and we would eat pizza together with the volley backers and just visit with them. And I was just reminded of that yesterday as we were walking around. Of my time here was such a sense of strong community, and that was really neat to be a part of. Also, when we were driving around town, I was flooded with memories of a little girl named Janae. While I was here, I participated in a program called Big Brothers Big Sisters, and Janae was my little sister, and she was 8 or 9 years old, and we were together for 2 years. And she would come to my games, but mostly our time together showed me kind of to step outside of the college student, the athlete, to just be a part of Hayes, Kansas, in her little world, as we would go bowling or go to the movies or walk around the mall or paint our nails or make cookies together. And our relationship flooded me back with those memories as well as we drove into town. And then the last thing that I was thinking was how my mom and dad were at every single game with a sibling or two. And the greatest thing about playing here at Hayes was that we went to Colorado about every 2 weeks, being in the RMAC. So we played Regis and Metro and Adams State and all those schools in Colorado. So going there on the bus with every 2 weeks, I got to see my family so much and just feel that support as a student athlete. And after every game, they'd send me home with homemade rolls or a bag of Skittles and lots of hugs, and so that was just really fun. So the best thing about being an athlete at Fort Hays State University wasn't all those memories that we made, it was the life skills that I feel like I gained as an athlete. And I thought I was just playing a game that I loved, but later, after I kind of entered the real world and was an adult for a while, I kind of realized what Fort Hays State University and specifically the athletic program really did for me. And I learned a few things about being an athlete here, and some of those things are that I feel like athletes know how to manage their time. By being an athlete here, I gained that skill. Athletes are accountable. Athletes work well with a variety of people, and we're used to working with people with different skill sets and unique perspectives. Athletes can handle criticism. We're coachable, which makes us valuable in our workplaces. And athletes persevere. And there's so many more life skills that I gained by being an athlete here at Fort Hays State University. And I use these skills when I taught 1st, 2nd, and 5th grade. And now I use these skills, I still use these skills as a mom. And our 4-year-old here is here, and our 1-year-old didn't make the cut today. We're all having a better time because he's somewhere else. So I just wanted to say how grateful I am to have been an athlete at Fort Hays. I'm grateful for the paths that it opened up for me, and I'm honored to come back here so many years later and to just see the growth and to know that I got to spend 4 years, really important years here, and to see now in hindsight what that has done in my life. So I'm so thankful to be a part of this and really grateful to receive this award. So thank you so much, and grateful to be part of a collection of such really cool athletes. So thank you so much.
Congratulations, Kelly Gunning, and welcome to the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. Our next inductee is Maddie Hollow. A native of Hayes, America, Maddie is the most decorated player in Fort Hays State softball history, playing from 2010 to 2013. Before I start with Maddie, I had the pleasure of watching Maddie many times, and I was amazed every time I watched her because she was a machine. At the end of her career in 2013, Hollow owned 34 Fort Hays State records, 19 in pitching and 15 offensively, and she still owns the majority of those today. Maddie was an NFCA and Daktronics All-America first team selection in her senior year of 2013 as one of the most dominant players in the nation, both in pitching and offensively. For pitching, she finished the year with a record of 29-4 and a 1.03 ERA, 26 complete games, 13 shutouts, 345 strikeouts, and 224 innings pitched. She threw 6 no-hitters that season, including back-to-back perfect games. The first player ever to throw perfect games in consecutive starts at any NCAA level. Offensively, she finished with a .426 batting average, 32 base hits, and 19 home runs, 56 RBIs, 62 runs scored, and 10 stolen bases. For her efforts in 13, Hollow was named both the MIAA Player of the Year. She threw 7 career no-hitters individually. She had a 1.97 ERA with 77 wins and 93 complete games, 25 by shutout, was still posting a .372 batting average with 46 home runs and 35 stolen bases. And by the way, Maddie earned all academic America honors as well. After graduating from Fort Hays State, Maddie went on to play professionally in Italy. In her first game, she threw a perfect game in a sixth inning contest. She went on to throw another no-hitter later that year and finished the season with a .78 ERA. Hollow earning NFCA Assistant Coach of the Year for NCAA Division II at St. Leo University in Florida in 2015, while helping the team to a regional championship and NCAA Division II World Series appearance in 2018. She coached for 4 years at St. Louis University before taking the pitching coach position at Marshall University, where she currently coaches today. Presenting for Maddie today, this is an awesome connection, is her catcher, Callie Wright. Callie, could you come up, please?
Thank you to the Fort Hays State University Athletic Department for hosting this honorable occasion. It's amazing to be here to witness some of the all-time great athletes that have ever come through this university. And congratulations to those who are inducted today, all of whom are so deserving. My name is Callie Blake, formerly Wright, as mentioned, and I played for the Fort Hays softball team from 2010 to 2014. I compiled a list of words with the help of former teammates of mine, including resilient, determined, perseverant, gritty, motivating, passionate, inspiring, leader. Each of these words connects us to key characteristics needed for an athlete to not only be a fierce competitor, but a true winner of the game. These were the words given when asked to describe Maddie by those who played alongside her. I was privileged to be one of those players, playing with Maddie for 3 of her 4 seasons here, 2 of those being her catcher, and my hand has only recently recovered from all of the 65-mile-per-hour screwballs. When I say she was a winner of the game, I don't mean necessarily the win-loss record. I don't mean the final score of every game. I mean someone who's striving to win each and every at-bat, each and every pitch, and each day that they step on the field. And Maddie Hollow was a winner. The very first time I met Maddie, I knew instantly that as a catcher, our personalities were so similarly competitive that we'd either be rivals or best friends. Fortunately, it was the latter. This fate was so obvious to me because within seconds of knowing her, I could sense her competitiveness, her confidence, and her passion for the game. Anyone who played with either of us, or those who lived with us, knew we were always competing. This was obviously displayed day in and day out during our trainings. We'd race each other, we'd lift with each other, and thanks to Billy and Coach K's crazy workout regimens, we'd even end up tackling or wrestling each other by the end of the day. Our competitiveness saw no bounds, that we even had to go as far to collectively decide to swear off ever splitting an appetizer together because we each end up eating too fast, trying to beat one another. It's just in our nature, we'll always be competitors. Only today, because it's her special day, will I ever admit that she was always faster, always stronger, but she always got the very best out of me. And she did the same for all the girls she played with. And it shows in those perfect games and those no-hitters. Because Maddie was so special, she motivated us all and pushed us all. Each one of us on that field performed at our very best and would go to any length to help her get that win. Everyone knew Maddie was a standout player, whether they were on the field or in the stands. And it's not just because of her insanely impressive stats. It was her poise on the mound, her supporting ways to pick up her teammates in the dugout, and her unmatched ability to hit that clutch, game-winning hit when needed. She was the kind of player everyone wanted to be, and every coach wanted to have. She strived for moments when the stakes were at the highest, the challenge was on, and the pressure was evident. She performed her best when she was put in those situations, and clutch doesn't even begin to describe her. When I think about those high-pressure situations, I go straight back to the semifinals of regionals when we were playing Wyandotte State. This was the furthest the softball team had ever gone in the program's history. We were tied 2-2 in the bottom of the seventh with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Maddie walked up to the plate and you could just see it in her eyes. She was not going to let her career end that day. She unleashed on that first pitch, and I'm pretty certain she would have hit any pitch that was thrown at that time because she was determined. And then there it went. 3-run, walk-off home run, which sent us to the championship. It was pretty amazing. Maddie had a very mature understanding of the game, and we connected very strongly over this, as she did with a lot of the other players. We'd analyze batters' stances, their approaches, confidence levels, previous at-bats, and so many other things. We got to the point where we could basically read each other's eyes. We knew what the other was thinking. Sometimes we'd smirk at a bad call by the umpire. Other times we'd chuckle at the girls who'd close their eyes because they'd never seen a ball come that fast. And even some umpires like the one at Lindenwood who basically ducked behind me for cover. But the best times were when those top hitters would come to bat. Whether they'd hit her before or their reputation in the league set them apart, we knew this was the time to step up. She'd settle in and she'd have this look of, I've got this. That confidence was incredible and extremely intimidating to her opponents. It made it impossible to ever doubt her. I've never felt more in sync than during that Missouri Southern game in 2013. A perfect game on the line. There were 2 outs and a 3-2 count. I called time to go chat with her. I straight up asked her what she wanted to throw. I knew she needed to be all in on her decision. She said rise out, and I said, which I'm editing this just a little bit, something along the lines of, heck yeah. Exactly what I was thinking, let's do it. And in true Maddie fashion, she did it. I felt so proud of her in that moment, and I knew I was living in that moment that was so powerful and so amazing, and not very many to get to experience. It was an honor to be on that field, playing ball with someone with so much talent. Maddie, words can't describe how thankful I am that I was able to play alongside you during your unbelievable career. I'm blessed to have learned from you how to be a great player and a great leader. We were able to share in so many fun, challenging, and incredible moments together. I'm honored to be here today to help you celebrate, but more grateful to be a witness to see your accomplishments recognized. Speaking on behalf of many other teammates we played with, some of which who are here today, thank you for being a great ball player, having a swing to be feared, leading us through history-breaking seasons, and being not only one of the top pitchers in the nation, but the most dominant pitcher to come through this university. Your lasting impact on Fort Hays State is second to none. During your career, your leadership and skill was a key attribute to a total transition of the program. This place looked a lot different from the time you got here to the time you left. And this Hall of Fame induction emphasizes the legacy you've created. I'm also glad you're able to turn your passions into your career, and you'll continue to push young women to this day to their full potential. I always knew how lucky I was to have you as a teammate on the field, but my luck's continued to have you as a teammate and friend through life, and I'm very proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with my pleasure to introduce to you, Maddie Holland.
Well, thank you, Callie, for that awesome introduction. I'm a firm believer, especially as a coach today, pitcher's only as good as their catcher. Man, I had a good one. What she did tell you is, even in the bullpen, we'd be in the bullpen, no batter, no nothing. I'd throw the ball down the middle, and with no mercy, she would chuck it back and just say, home run. Yep, that one went straight over the plate. Home run. So I value you a lot for apparently not making me pitch the ball down the middle very much. So thank you, Callie, again for that intro. Man, this is an honor, and it's a really special moment for me, and I know a special moment for the rest of the inductees, so congratulations. I want to take this opportunity and just thank all the people that got me behind this podium today, many of which who traveled lengths to get here today, which I sincerely appreciate. Curtis and Annette, thank you. A lot of you don't know that Curtis and Annette's daughter, Alicia, and I were inseparable in high school. She decided that she was going to come here and play softball, and I was going through the recruiting process, and she decided that before I made the decision, and I was like, well, it'd be cool to play with my best friend, so I guess I'll go there. So I have a lot to thank their family for, and they've had a really special impact on my life. Thank you to the selection committee, thank you to Fort Hays Athletics for allowing me to experience this moment. Thank you to all the people that came. I got a pretty full table over there that kind of overflowed into other people's tables, so sorry about that. But, this is a great day for me and for everybody else, and I appreciate you guys taking time out of your weekends, taking time out of your days to come celebrate with me. Thank you to my former coaches. Alan Billinger, who couldn't be here today, was my first coach. A lot of you I know him. Funny story, the first time I ever tried out for a softball team, I wanted to be a pitcher. I always knew I wanted to be a pitcher. I wanted the ball in my hand. And so I tried out to be a pitcher, and then I got cut. So my mom went to Alan Billinger, who is a pretty well-known pitching guy around here, and he said, I'll give you 3 weeks. If you don't make it 3 weeks, then it's not going to happen. And so luckily, apparently I pressed him enough for 3 weeks that he got to coach me for all throughout high school. After Alan, I was really, really fortunate to play for both Julie Lemire and Erin Kinberger. Erin, who's here today, were both very strong women who really taught me to decide what you want. If you want to be the best of all time, go for it and don't let any excuse get in your way. So I've carried that, and they have shaped and molded me into who I am today. Thank you to my friends, my teammates, a lot of who are here today. Without you, man, we wouldn't have gone gone anywhere that we did. Thank you for the memories that you've helped me create that I'll never forget. My family, I mean, you were not only my family, my mom, my dad, both of my brothers, but team family too. Dad having all the girls over for soup nights, mom making treats for everybody on the bus, coming to every single game. Your love and support has meant so much to me throughout the years. And the Tiger community, all of you today, you know, I've come back probably 4 times since I moved. I moved pretty closely after graduation. It feels like I've never left. Hays, Kansas and Fort Hays State University have had such a special place in my heart. You know, I'm a coach today, I coach at Marshall University, so I talk to recruits all the time, and I was on the phone with a recruit the other day, and, you know, after I got done telling her how good she was and how she would really fit in our program, I asked if she had any more questions, and she said, yeah, can I put my grandpa on the phone? I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird, but sure. And so grandpa gets on the phone, he only asked me one question. He said, you know, give me a reason why you do what you do. And without even thinking, I said, Fort Hays State University and my 4 years of experience there was the best 4 years of my life. And, you know, day in and day out, I only want to give these girls that I get to work with every day that exact same experience, because it made me the woman I am, and it gave me so many memories that I'll never forget. So, Tiger community, my friends and family, thank you so much for that. That's it.
Congratulations, Maddie Hollow, and welcome to the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. That concludes our inductees, and my closing is very short and sweet. And the message I want to send is, what you feel today will be with you forever. For the little people that are here, that don't quite get what's going on, there's a lot of phones and a lot of recordings going on, and someday I promise you they will. Because that's what it's all about. It's about you, it's about your family, it's about your friends, it's about the way you feel today. It's about the times you can take in here at Fort Hays State University and the people that are surrounding this room and this community. We thank you all for traveling, those of you that did travel quite some time to get here. And in closing, I'm just going to turn it over to our Director of Athletics, Mr. Curtis Handeke, with a few closing remarks and a little bit of information for the rest of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Here's Curtis.
Thank you, John. I do want to say just to a couple of these athletes that I did get to watch. First of all, I want to say congratulations to all of you, and what a special day it is, like you said. But I did get to watch personally Kelly Skidmore and Maddie Hollow quite a bit, and I think I'd be remiss not saying how amazing it was to watch both of you play. Our volleyball team at that time was really fantastic, and striving to this day to get back to that point. But that was an incredible group of kids at that time playing here for Fort Hays, playing at the national level, and truly, as Kelly's dad said, she was a remarkable athlete. I just had to feel like I wanted to say that, but I enjoyed watching you play. As for Maddie, I think it's incredible. John read those numbers there, but I'd be remiss not to say today, you know, Maddie was so dominant, probably one of the most dominant athletes in any sport in Fort Hays history. But to have those accolades as a pitcher, but not just as a pitcher. I mean, that in and of itself was remarkable, but then to have that same type of success offensively as a hitter as well at the same time is really kind of hard to fathom. It was an incredible thing to watch, a lot of fun to watch you over the years, Maddie. And I can even go back to her days at TMP. I remember one day in particular, I'm going to just tell one story. There's the left field fence at TMP, and there's there's quite a bit of grass, and there's a big row of trees, kind of like a shelter belt. And then you go up there, I don't know, some pretty good distance up to where the parking lot is. It's up there a ways. I'd be afraid to exaggerate exactly how far it was. But I do remember coming up there one day, getting there late as usual to a game of theirs, and there were some people out there around the pickup out there that had the back windshield of it knocked out. And I said, holy cow, what happened to that? Somebody said, all of it a home run. Well, gee, that's almost unreachable. But a lot of amazing things over the years from those two. But again, congratulations to all of you here today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. We got a great big football game today, a really big one over at Lewisfield, playing Kearney State today. We're both 5-2, but Tigers started off slow this year at 0-2, but they won 5 straight. Kearney just beat Northwest Missouri last week, which set the stage is set for us to kind of control our own destiny moving forward with our football program. Those of you who are coming back to town, they won back-to-back conference championships and played in the postseason the last 2 years. So really, this is a really big day today for them. It's going to be a beautiful day out at the field. So we are going to, at halftime, bring our inductees out and be recognized there at that today. So if you're able to stick around for the game, I hope you can. And our inductees will be, I'll take you down to the field with me at half. Toby does have tickets. I think if anybody in here needs tickets to the game, I've lost track of Toby. Where is she? Hi, Toby. You still have some tickets? Okay. I need a few, by the way. Don't let me forget, I need 3. But I would ask one more favor before we take off here. I would like to ask our inductees to come up right here behind the stage just for a minute. We're going to take one kind of team photo, and then we're going to turn you loose. Anything else, John? Again, thank you very much for being here today, and congratulations to our inductees. Thank you.